Welcome to Make a Difference with Phil Martelli. I am Jared Phillips. We are out in the wild at the Coaches vs. Cancer Baseball Fest here in FDR Park. How special is this, Phil?
This is something special. The Coaches vs. Cancer program is special to me. I want to get into that a little bit, but to be here, all activity going on all over the place. Teams warming up, teams actually playing live. You look across and you see young kids playing across. What a special, special occasion this is. And this is what it is. Make a difference. We want it to be out in the public. And I want to bring a point to Coaches vs. Cancer was started in Philadelphia egotistically. We had a program that was not active. 100 schools were listed for their donations to Coaches vs. Cancer. Not one Philadelphia school. Fran Dunphy and I decided to make a change. So yes, there was a breakfast, and yes, there was a gala, and yes, there was a golf tournament. But we felt the separation in Philadelphia would be our school initiative program. And Juan and his crew has taken that, the baseball feast or fest.
It is a feast.
Feast versus Coaches for Coaches vs. Cancer. Just absolutely amazing. Next weekend, going to have an opportunity to go to Pennsbury High School for a coaches clinic benefiting Coaches vs. Cancer. So all of these heroes with one mission involved. We want to crush cancer. And we're going to continue to do that. I am so proud of all that we've accomplished, but I'm also so angst about what we haven't accomplished, which is to crush cancer. We will one day, because of young people being on a field, being on a court, being in a clinic. Let's do all we can. Let's do all that we can to support Coaches vs. Cancer and make Philadelphia the #1 program, as it is, throughout this country.
An unbelievable lineup of guests coming on today. I mean, obviously, we're going to have Juan Namnun on, a repeat guest from a few months back, who is just, his story is unbelievable, but he is the one that has spearheaded all of this. Coaches vs. Cancer, so historically a basketball-centric fight, a basketball-centric battle, but him bringing baseball into the fold has really added such a much-needed layer to help crush cancer. I think it's going to be fantastic to hear from him once again. But we got a couple of legends on the show as well.
Sure thing, and it's not us. We're not the legends here. So this is exciting. But we want to stay with our theme because we're going to start with the Martelli Minute. Martelli Minute brought to us by Status Solutions Network. What is Status Solutions doing? Status Solutions is bringing compliant safety technology to schools through a grant of use, ensuring that financial barriers never stand between students and proper safety. Each community has the power to create real change. Learn more about Status Solutions at statussolutions.com. Statussolutions.com. We are so appreciative that they continue to allow us to bring the Martelli Minute. And where can you find that Martelli Minute?
You can find it on Instagram at Phil_Martelli every morning at 6:30 a.m.
There we go.
Holding you to that.
There we go. Allow your childhood, childlike innocence to shine by living in the moment, being spontaneous, and remaining curious. Again, allow your childlike innocence to shine by living in the moment, being spontaneous, and remaining curious. Remember when you were a child and all those things were part of what you were doing. Make good use of the good fortune that will come your way. Don't sit there as if you were whining and worrying. Make good use of the good fortune that will come your way. How about Juan being an example of that? You are the one and only Strive to find your uniqueness. How about when somebody says to you, you're the one and only executive producer of a podcast? Well, then, you know what? You have a responsibility to find your uniqueness. Dare to believe that you can, will, and must overcome all obstacles. It starts with belief. And then the last one for this episode. Fear not making mistakes, for they establish your present limits and allow you to work accordingly to reach your goal, which is improvement, not perfection, right? Again, fear not making mistakes, for they establish your present limits and allow you to work accordingly to reach your goal, which is improvement. This guest segment is going to be like, do they still use that like off the chain or whatever it is?
Yeah,
is that like a thing?
Off the chain, yeah, that still works. Why not?
Off the chain.
Yeah.
Off the chain. So I'm going to start with our guest segment has become so special, and I know that you have a real scripted read, but let me give you from my heart what we're now doing on the guest segment. Shoot basketballs, not people, so moved us that they have accepted our offer to sponsor the guest segment so we can support them. Please consider donating time, talent, or treasures to SBNP. And Jared's going to give you more information. We're going to have it on all of our information. Help Gary and his crew to make a difference. SBNP. Give them your read, your professional read.
No, that's all I think people want to hear it from you. That was all we needed to hear right there. All I will add is head to joinsbnp.org. That is where you can become a partner or you can become an ambassador to Shoot Basketballs, Not People. Gary Mills has been terrific in the Philadelphia community using basketball to combat gun violence with education and youth programs and sports programs in the city. It's really, if you are looking to make an active change in your community, there's few people in the city of Philadelphia that are doing that like Gary is. And I think that's really all it comes down to.
And that's what we want to team up with him, and we're just asking your help. It might be a phone call of encouragement. It might be $100. Whatever we can do, let's all of us make a difference.
Gary, in his pledge to sponsor the guest segment of the show, with that actually comes also a donation from us to Coaches vs. Cancer as well, which is an initial goal for us on this show, which has us equally excited to not only be making a difference in the community, but helping to crush cancer every episode we do.
And we're going to crush cancer with this segment. Who we starting with?
Who do you want to start with? We got to pick of the litter.
Well, we're between innings, so maybe we can catch the head baseball coach at Frankfurt to go over pitch selection or moving a runner. What do you think?
I like it.
All
Let's
right.
grab him.
Yo, come on, Jared. Baseball.
He's more excited about this than he was the hoops.
Hey,
you know?
listen.
Come
I
on,
swear.
Juan. Tell us what you're doing.
This is the pride of what we've been working hard for. Today's our second annual Philadelphia Public League Coaches versus Cancer Baseball Fest, and it is one of my favorite days of the entire year. Yeah.
This is really, really something. And I was thinking about this as I was coming in, was the players that are around you, do they get the magnitude of what they're doing where they are making a difference?
Yeah, I think our kids are smart enough to understand the gravity of the situation. And the one thing that I promised my wife, and I've always promised our guys in the dugout, is that I'll never lie or sugarcoat anything, whether it's about college, whether it's about grades or their skill level or my health. So I've always been up front about my battle. I've always been upfront about my scans that I have every couple months when I don't feel well, when I don't, that's life, that's reality. So I think they get it. And I think that's probably the most touching thing is how supportive they are to me today when they met my guardian angel. They get it. I think they absolutely get it.
And how about this? To me, this is what coaching is about. You take young people, and yes, you educate them in the sport, you train them, etc. But our responsibility, Juan, as coaches, is to lift them to becoming better people, community people. You're doing that. All of your coaches in the public league are doing that. What a special event. Thank you for allowing us to be part of it.
Thank you for honoring us with being here today and helping us share the awareness. Really, that's what it comes down to is the more conversations are had about cancer and treatments and opportunities, it's a fight that it's not one person, it's not a couple, but it's everybody. Everybody's impacted by cancer, so you guys are giving us a blessing by allowing us to continue to the awareness part.
Juan, I think so many people were touched by your story. You've told it in a variety of ways. We got the opportunity to share it on our show here.
Yeah.
Have you ever been able to kind of step back and real? I know you don't think this way because you're just the family, the coaching, the next step. But you really do have an inspiring story. Is there a way to positively kind of spin that to so many people that use me as an example to move forward? Right?
Yeah. When I was really in a bad spot, I didn't like the way I felt. I didn't like the way I was thinking. I'm usually an incredibly positive, happy person. And I realized then in one of my darker times, treatments and physical issues, I have to use what's happening to me to help others as far as what could happen to them. There's always going to be the other side of positivity. And I think I can help shed some light on the fact that it's hard, but there's a lot of amazing doctors. There's a lot of amazing treatments. Positivity is a super powerful tool, whether we're playing sports, whether, we're coaching, coach, when a guy's feeling really good on the court, feels like he can never miss.
Yes.
When you're battling cancer and you wake up and you're going to say, today's the day where I'm going to keep fighting, that has power, so I hope that that's what I'm continuing to spread is positivity is a super powerful medicine.
And I would say this, Juan, you are making a difference.
Thank you.
And as we said when you were a guest in the winter with us, make a difference is with you, Juan.
I appreciate you guys so much.
Let's crush cancer.
Let's crush
not
cancer. Let's crush cancer. This is what we're doing. We're starting from the ground up with these young guys that, unfortunately, sometimes they may not get the information that some of us adults get. So that's kind of where this is being driven by me, is that I want these young guys to be able to go home and say, hey, Mom, did you know that you can get screened for free? Or, hey, Dad, did you know that this opportunity exists at this cancer facility? And let them drive the conversation at home. It doesn't have to be adults down. Let's educate as many people as we can.
Juan, what we wish for you all year is a lot of 2-out runs, because I know that makes a difference.
I'll tell you what, big time. 2-out runs, they'll win games for sure.
Nothing really explains Coach better than the fact that his team is playing right now,
No
and he's
question.
still willing to sit down with us.
So
that's trust in staff.
That right
there.
there is the blessings of an amazing group of guys that work with me every day that I can turn to and trust, because we're all on the same page. I can't call guys assistant coaches. They're co-coaches.
Yes, sir.
The guys that are on my staff
Yes,
coach
sir.
alongside me.
Yes.
They don't coach for me, they coach with
Yes.
me.
Yes.
So I can literally turn to any of the guys in our dugout and say, hey, I need you to run pitch count. I need you to run, third base or manage the defense. And we're all on the same page.
Yep.
So me being able to talk to you in the middle of a game is just the trust that I have in the staff and the kids. The kids, it's a pretty fine, well-oiled machine, I think.
Yep. And don't anybody miss what he just said. Semantics matter. People don't work for anybody.
No.
If you're you could have the title of head coach. They don't work for you.
No.
They don't work for you. Even a CEO, they don't work for you. They work with you. And that's what works best.
Yep.
When people are working with each other and not for each other. The institutions, Frankfurt, the Philadelphia Public League, Independence Blue Cross, people are working for those institutions, those companies. You're working with people.
Yep.
The most successful understand that always. my man Juan.
I thank you guys
Thank
for
you.
your time. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
I appreciate it.
All right, now go get that win, Coach. Our next guest on the show today, a Phillies legend, Milton Thompson, joining us. I know that this guy right here is so excited. I saw as soon as he grabbed you, he started telling you about 64 when he's on the tarmac waiting for the team. This guy is the biggest Phillies fan I've ever met in my entire life.
Oh yeah. You know, you bleed red. You bleed red, and it's hard. You know, we were talking earlier today. It's hard to see these guys get off to such a great start, and now we just don't know what's going on right now. We're still trying to figure it out.
Milt, one of the things that I've observed about the organization is, yes, the product on the field and the crowds and that kind of thing. Could you describe what it means for a Philly to be a part of this community?
Oh, I love it. I mean, this is my third year being an ambassador, and you know, I love going out in the community, working with the kids. You know, going out hanging with sponsors and season ticket holders. It's just, you know, I couldn't wish for anything better than what I'm doing right now. And I played with a couple different teams in my major league career. By far, this is the best organization I've ever been around.
Beautiful. Thoughts, memory. This is Make a Difference. It's not a sports podcast, but Make a Difference in the community. So, what are the thoughts or memories where you know you've made a difference?
Well, I just think that the hard work you put in. You know, I do motivational speaking throughout this area, and I tell the story about when I first went out for the Little Leagues, and I idolized Jackie Robinson.
Wow.
Because Jackie was the first African American to play in the major leagues, and I dreamed to be a major league ball player. And when I went out there the first day, I went to second base because I wanted to be a second baseman, and I fielded the ball, and I threw it left-handed. I was left-handed. And they go, you can't play in the middle of the diamond, you can't play double play, can't turn a double play properly. And I went home upset, crying a little bit. And my dad was very simple. He said, do you really want to play second base? I said, yes, sir. Every day after he got off of work, I learned how to throw right-handed. I played second base. So my moral of the story is, when someone tells you you can't do something, either you believe them or you do something about it.
Wow. So this event today is just fascinating. Inner city baseball teams giving back in this idea of fighting cancer. I know cancer's touched you at some point.
Yes.
Could you share that with us? Would you be comfortable sharing that cancer touch in your life?
Oh, yeah. Cancer, my dad died of cancer, lung cancer, from smoking. And it was very hard to see a man, big, strong man, go under 100 pounds. And, you know, it was so heartbreaking. But, you know, cancer is just one of the toughest diseases ever you can imagine, and what it does to you, and just breaks you down completely. And you almost to the point where you lose your will sometimes with people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was really tough, and it's great every year. And right around Thanksgiving in November, we go to the Hope Lodge and serve dinner
Yes,
to the
sir.
to
Yes,
the.
sir.
I absolutely enjoy that every year. We go out and meet with those families and you know, serve dinner to them and just talk to them and encourage them.
And Milt, I'm not going to put words into your, but I want you to think about this process. When we go to Hope Lodge, and I'm saying I've been there with my teams, you end up leaving getting more than you've given.
Oh, without a doubt.
And you don't go there with that purpose.
No, you sure don't. You sure don't.
You're not an ambassador for that purpose, but think about that.
Yes, exactly right. You know, the way it warms my heart. You know, to see these people battling for their lives, and, you know, you see smiles on their faces, and they're just appreciative of us coming out, talking to them, sharing with them, knowing that we care.
The Phillies community engagement starts at the top. How do you, as a former great Philly, how do you transfer that knowledge to the younger players? Guys just coming into town.
Well, they got
Ring and Wesley Wilson, those kind of guys.
They got to understand where it came from. Even dealing from ALS that the Phillies were really big in, to now switching over to cancer. They've always been a community that has been giving back and care. And that's one thing as a professional athlete you need to understand when you come to Philadelphia. or even if you're a college athlete,
Yes.
and you come to Philadelphia, is you give back to the community.
Well, Milt, we don't let anybody off the podcast without answering our last question. Who's made a difference in Milt Thompson's life?
Oh, by far, Martin Luther King Jr. I said Jackie Robinson, but Martin Luther King Jr. was, oh my God, he's one of my idols, and he will forever be my idol, because he believed in not these things here,
Yep.
but you can get things solved by not being aggressive and wanting to fight your way through it, but through negotiations, through talking, through nonviolence.
Strength of character, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Milt Thompson has strength of character. What a lefty. We got to go over that Sunday afternoon game against the Cardinals one time. You didn't move the runner, Milt. Come on.
Isn't that amazing how much he knows about this
yeah,
game?
encyclopedia,
He doesn't forget anything.
We appreciate
But you know what? He forgot about Game 4 in the World Series when I knocked in 5 runs.
Yo, come on now. Come on now.
But we lost 15-14.
I remember.
Oh man, that was a long night.
Rain and
Oh, my God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Milt, we appreciate you. You are making a difference, and you've certainly made a difference with Juan and this Philadelphia Baseball Fest. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Well, we want to welcome in another Phillies legend, Dickie Noles. And I got to tell you right off the bat, Dickie, if you're familiar with this guy, he is an absolute baseball nut. I'm sure you've gotten
I'm a Phillies
little bit of a
nut,
taste of that.
not so much of baseball.
I'm loving that because we're big fans of him. You kidding me? We've been following you, Phil, forever.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Dickie, I want to start with this idea that the Phillies have done a remarkable job of being community partners. Comes from the top. How's it passed to players like you, and now you pass it to the younger players, that Philadelphia is going to live and breathe with you as long as you live and breathe with them?
You know, Phil, it's amazing because I started here in 1975 with the Phillies, and I went through other teams. I came up 79, 80, and 81, and the Phillies were big in the community then. It's like the Phillies were big in the community, the Sixers were, all the college basketball programs, it's like Philadelphia just seems to have that bred it into them. And when I was with the Phillies, I didn't really understand how important it was to be involved in the community until the 6th game of the World Series when Dallas Green came in, and all of us young guys, he said, when we win tonight, which is taboo, we had Lefty on the mound. When we win tonight, this is going to be our first World Championship. So you guys, I want you to really look around. This is more than you and the ball team. This is a whole city. So I think that's where it started with me. And I left the Phillies. I went to the Cubs. I went to the Rangers, the Indians, the Orioles, and a lot of other teams, Tigers. And then coming back to the Philadelphia, there's nothing like Philadelphia. There's nothing like Philadelphia sports, but there's nothing like the community involved with all the teams here. To me, I mean, I played for a lot of clubs, but that's the way I've always felt, that coming back to Philadelphia, no matter where I go, the players that I've played with that leave here, they all want to come back. I mean, look at Cole Hamels and all the people that are involved now. Look at those ambassadors,
Yes,
Cole
sir.
Hamels, Ryan Howard, and Jimmy Rollins and Utley now. Who would have ever thought those guys would come back and be ambassadors here?
It's a great point. And through this journey, our podcast is Make a Difference. It's not a sports podcast, but Make a Difference. We want to be out with people like Juan, who are out there crushing cancer. We want to be with homeless advocates and have them speak about it. We've gone to high schools to talk to community service kids. Dickie, in your life, do you have a memory or a moment where you know you made a difference, and has that stayed in your heart?
Yes, it has. When I got done playing baseball, the Phillies were kind enough to tell me that, hey, we think you're done, so we're going to put you in the community relations department. Dave Montgomery put me in there, and I was like, I still want to play. As a matter of fact, I worked for one day, and nobody knows this, and I never quit anything in my life. And I said, David, I need to put this job on hold. I'm going to Mexico to pitch. He goes, you'll be back. And I came back. And I ran into an organization, which you're talking about, Cancer, Sunshine Foundation, which deals with cancer and terminally ill kids. And I was involved in that organization. It was a cop out of Philadelphia that went into Children's Hospital and started the Sunshine Foundation. Wow. And, you know, they take kids down to Disney World. So I think I've been in Disney World more than most people. I think I've been there 70-something times on airlifts. And every time I went on an airlift, I'd always hear about a miracle. And I was going, I'm a Christian. I ain't seen a miracle. And then one day I I was able to realize that the impact that you can make on people by listening to them and just offering them love and, you know, and just trying to be the best person you can be. And this kid from up in Lambertville, his name was Jackie. He was a big Phillies fan. I remember getting on the plane. They said, this kid loves the Phillies. And I got on the plane and he's going, hey, are you with the Phillies? And I go, yeah, I'm with the Phillies. And he goes, I love Darren Dalton. I love John Kruk. I love Milt Thompson and Lenny Dykstra and all those guys. And I said, hey, kid, they lost. We won. No, I didn't say that. But anyway, I walked over to the kid and I went, I'm with the 80 Phillies. And I was able to go do Disney World with that kid because he loved baseball. And just little simple things like that. And, you know, my miracle that day was that kid taught me that life is just not living. It's you know, some people get up and they just live, but life's making a difference. Best you can do. That's all it is. Just do your best.
Beautiful, beautiful. And just for this moment, if you could just speak to this to our followers here, the idea of oftentimes when we think we're giving, we end up getting a lot more.
Phil, you're so right. We end up getting. This kid here, you may remember him, Corey Phelan, was a minor league player with us.
Yes.
And I have his bracelet on. It says, God has me. But this kid impacted our organization more than any baseball player I've ever seen with the Phillies. And I've been in baseball. This is my 51st year professionally.
Wow.
But he was a 19-year-old kid that was always giving. And then he got cancer. And I just talked to his folks because I wrote his name down on the card. And Corey touched Schwarber, touched Larry Bowa the way nobody ever touched Larry Bowa in a short 4-game series up here against the Cincinnati Reds. And then his cancer, he couldn't beat it. He went into Children's Hospital. He was from Huntington, New York. He was in Sloan Catering. And in Children's Hospital, he's still helping because Corey's Promise is an organization that gives the money back to help for cancer. And Corey was the first person to tell me that. You know, he had all these kids that he would meet in the hospital there that were young, and he said, look at me. I'm 19, instead of saying, my career's ahead of me. I want to be a major leaguer. And him and Larry Bowa would watch, believe it or not, they didn't have the Phillies games on at Children's Hospital. I had to take my phone down so he could watch that, and they got the Yankee games on because he grew up a Yankee fan, but he was a Philly player. And he would say, you know, these kids down here, they're 3 and 4 years old. They don't have, you know, the experiences that I have. So he never worried about himself. And so many cancer kids are like that. And look at these kids out here playing for cancer today. This is a beautiful thing.
Sure, it certainly is. So, Dickie, we like to finish with this idea, always with our guest segment, is this. Who's made the difference in Dickie Noles' life?
Oh, there's a long list of people. A long list of people. Everybody knows the influence Dallas Green had in my life. But there's been so many people. I mean, church has been a big influence in my life. God's number one. My family. I mean, my family never gave up on me. You know my whole history.
Yes.
But I tell you what, there were so many people in baseball that never gave up on me. One of them was just in town, Ferguson Jenkins. In some small way, he was the guy sitting in the background telling me, you're going to run it, kid. You got to dedicate yourself to this. Yeah, you work hard on the field, but that stuff out there you're putting in your body doesn't agree with you.
Right.
So just so many people, just so many. I'd have a long list.
Beautiful.
My mother.
There we go.
My mother.
Come on, moms always make this list.
Moms are that's
They
a popular choice.
They make the list every day. And this young fellow over here, he doesn't even know, Dickie. He doesn't even know. The Phillies traded Ferguson Jenkins, and he went on to win Cy Youngs for Chicago instead of Philadelphia. Come on, we got to educate them.
Oh, Hall of Famer, 6 straight 20-game seasons. But Fergie came back here to throw out the first ball on the Jackie Robinson day, and he loved coming back. So.
Man, we might be here all day, but Dickie, thank you for you making a difference in this community.
Thank you, Phil, for the difference you're making.
You're so close to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
That was unreal. I mean, Juan and a couple of Phillies legends, man. That was really. I know you were geeking out.
Well, but like, let's not miss it. Crushing cancer with this lineup on this day, with young people playing baseball and giving back. They don't even know that they're making a difference, and there it is. I'm saluting you for the idea, thanking Juan for allowing us to come in.
And I think it probably goes without saying. You probably expected, but this Coaches vs. Cancer Baseball Fest already crushed their goal. The goal was to raise $1,000 for Coaches vs. Cancer. They crushed it like earlier this week. They're just blowing by it as anticipated, as expected, with the support that we're getting.
As we always anticipate. But now we move forward, right? Not that we race forward, but we kind of move forward.
A fun little make a difference in the wild here down at FDR Park. But where is Phil Martelli headed?
Well, I'm headed to a dear friend of mine, Joe Oakes. I'm going to head to his viewing and funeral sometime this week. A National High School Basketball Federation. I'm going to go on their podcast. A fellow by the name of Dave Archer from New York, passionate about high school basketball. He started a federation, and I'm going to join them on early in the week, right? Earlier in this week, whenever we put this out. Then how about this one? The Keystone Chapter Community Association Institute. Property managers, homeowners, the leaders in homeowners associations for the state have invited me to come speak with them in Lancaster, PA. That night, come back with another community organization, the Great Guy Dinner. Going to stop by there. Special Persons Day at St. Mary Magdalene. I'll be there for the musical performances of every single grade. Pennsbury High School, a clinic for Coaches vs. Cancer, to benefit Coaches vs. Cancer. Fran Dunphy, myself, Cindy Griffin, Frank Sciola, the coaches at Pennsbury putting this on. So anybody out there that's interested in a Saturday morning of hoops, we're going to try and do that next week. First Communion for Nolan Jeffries. He gets a shout out. But really, I have to be honest with you. This is all selfish. I'm being very, very selfish. Because next week's guest on Make a Difference is a whirlwind. A whirlwind. If there's somebody in Philadelphia who's made a greater difference than our guest next week, I don't think so. I don't think so. And it's our next week's guest is always on the go. So much so that our window for the interview is scripted down to 27 minutes that this young lady is available to us. Jared, we're going to continue to make a difference, but I do need you to do one more thing. Please shout out Gary and SBNP.
That is, of course needed. The sponsor for our Make a Difference Makers segment, Gary Mills and Shoot Basketballs Not People. Head to joinsbnp.org where you can become a partner, you can donate, you can become an ambassador for Shoot Basketballs Not People. Gary Mills is one of the biggest difference makers we have here in Philadelphia. He is using basketball, youth programs, education, sports, whatever it may be, he is turning that into an opportunity to fight and combat gun violence in the city of Philadelphia. The really, truly, the list of difference makers, it's a short list of people that are making as much of a difference as Gary Mills is, and we are so excited to continue working with him for the next 5 weeks here. Through the end of May, he will be with us, partnered, and really excited about that, and we have more in the pipeline with him moving forward that is really
We're going to get to one of his events.
It's going to knock your socks off. It is going to be really, really awesome stuff, and could not be more excited about it, and you'll be hearing about him quite a bit over the next couple weeks, that's for sure.
Every week, Make a Difference surprises me and lifts me up. Thank you to Juan and everybody here.
How are you feeling, by the way? I mean, you know, I took you out of the comfort of the sitting room with the Martelli residence. It got rained on a little bit. You know,
nothing wrong with this.
Testing the durability of the podcast equipment.
I'm just wondering if they're going to ask me to get on the bump here.
Yeah, they might need a couple of relief innings from you.
I don't know. There is a team that needs relief pitchers. They might not be here today.
That just about does it here from FDR Park at the Coaches vs. Cancer Baseball Fest. We are Make a Difference with Phil Martelli. That is how you can find us on Facebook. We're there on YouTube as well. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to like and subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, please give us a 5-star rating. We are at a Make a Difference Pod on Instagram and TikTok, and we are at Make a Diff Pod on X. If you were looking for the Martelli Minute, that is Phil_Martelli. That is just about everywhere you can find us. And if you are looking to make a difference with Phil, get boots on the ground, make a difference in your workplace, in your classroom, in your on the court, off the court, whatever it may be, you can get in touch with Phil at pnjmakeadifference.com. That is pnjmakeadifference.com. What an awesome day.
Great idea, well executed. There's a lot of great ideas out there that don't get executed. This one did. Thank you to everybody involved. Everybody.